Hi, welcome to Gary Keep It Simple. Got a slightly different one for you here. We're going from High Wycombe today, from the Air Raid Shelter Cafe and Tea Room. We're going to have a look around and see some of the technology from years gone by. Walking in here is like changing time zones. It's a walk into the past. Let's have a go. Now you can see as we walk in here, it is quaint. There is technology all around. There we go. There's the baby moving technology. Metal used for producing Spitfires, and also this sort of thing. Now this is an Anderson shelter. Now if you don't know what one of them is, it was in Britain during World War II. They issued those to try and stop people getting killed. There's a quick look in the Kazi, and now a quick look around this is a mock-up of a typical kitchen from the 1940s, where you'd have a shelf and a clock and some books and stuff. Then as you sweep round, you start to see the rest of the kitchen. It makes more sense. You've got your cups and stuff. You've got a couple of pictures. Because people used to live in their kitchens. Well, some people still do. And there's your main dresser unit, as they used to call it. I think that's what they called it anyway. And then you got your cooker, gas cooker, all your preserves up there, and your big old radiator. And a Hoover. Now this is obviously an affluent family because they've got a Hoover, a vacuum cleaner. And propaganda stuff on the walls. This is all donations primarily, and they're trying to be time appropriate, period appropriate. If you see anything on here and you think, oh, that's either interesting or it's out of time, whatever, please put it in the comments. It would be most interesting. This could be a good forum for discussion. So then this is a look at the kitchen from the other direction. So you've got the sink there, and a quick look in here. Some of the odds and sods. Telephone, high technology at the time. A normal dial telephone, gas masks, of course, all the different types, and respirators and tin hats, and a gas mask case there. So it's the iron that you put on the gas hob. A typical sort of living room, which would have been cute and cosy. A wind-up gramophone. Sounds like kind of going for the generation game here, but look, see the television in the background. I'm not sure if that one's period appropriate for the World War II. But the sort of the dollies and stuff there's a radio in the background there. Can you see that? Next to the 4-slice toaster. But that's because it's a cafe. But is the radio appropriate? It would have had tubes or valves in it, and it would have been listening to the wartime broadcasts. Here we go. This is the army room. And there are things in here. I remember this sort of stuff from my grandparents. And wouldn't have necessarily had the bunting around, but would certainly have had a lot of the ornaments and stuff that are here, and I believe that some of the propaganda would have been put on domestic walls. Some lovely knitted little toys there. I know how to get those. If anybody wants some, send me an email. There's a map of the cafe. Now looking on here, I remember my dad having some of these. Now this is an ammo box, and obviously a clock. We can all recognise a clock. Sorry for the bad photography, but it's a bit of a problem. And a .303 ball Mark 7 CT. I don't know what that's for. I know it's some sort of ammo, but I don't know why. Here we go with a uniform, and you can see in the background some photographs which are fairly appropriate and period appropriate. And tin hat. Obviously, now I don't know exactly what that uniform's for. So if anybody knows, let me know in the comments below. That'd be useful. And it's a time gone past. Here, bus there, Winston Churchill. So these books are not necessarily time appropriate because some of them are referring to planes that were obviously afterwards, and VE Day and whatever else here. But it's the sort of thing that people would have had in those days. They didn't have TV, obviously, because it wasn't invented till 1935, and it was then shut down during the war. So they might have had a television in the house, but they couldn't use it. Here we go with some more of the propaganda stuff, and some lovely shots there. Now Wycombe was actually quite important in the war. Spitfire. We've all heard of Spitfires. Now this wall is quite important. I have tried to treat this wall with the appropriate reverence because it's got real photographs of real heroes, real servicemen, and if you want to go past this, there are chapters in this video, but if you want to have a look at some real people that really did some stuff, then this is the bit to look at. It's a nice touch that they've got in the cafe. People ask and donate pictures to go up on here in memory of their service. And as you can see, there's an awful lot of people were killed during the war, and it is nice to remember them. They were heroes, and the people who weren't killed, well, they went on to have good lives because the people who gave their service and gave the ultimate sacrifice, in the end they gave us the freedom that we currently enjoy in the Western world. That's all of the Western world, because it was a world war. Anyway, going on a bit now, but I'll just let you have a look at this fine looking young men who went on to be heroes. Some of them conquering heroes, some of them never to return. There'll always be a place in our hearts for these people. The sights and sounds that these people and all servicemen in all of the services, including the other side, must have seen and heard. War is not a nice thing, and there's too much of it around it even now. But this was a world war, and obviously it was profound in that way. I'm just hoping that we've learned something from it. I make no apology for doing that, other than to say I apologise for my photography being so bad. As you can see, it was a major thing. And with so many then and now, it's lovely. If you're of a certain age, most of what's in here will actually be a reminder of your childhood and your parents and what they had to put up with, and your parents' parents. So this is the waiting room. It's just got nice bits of memorabilia in it, the rocking horse, the sort of posters that they would have had, lampshades and stuffed toys. A lot of what they had then was the same as what we have now. It's not exactly the same, and it's quaint, it's nice. It's got some lovely letters and things up there from the genuine manuscripts of people sending stuff to their loved ones. And yeah, it's a weird sort of sensation when you walk around here, because it could be sad, but it's not. They don't glorify the war. They don't make a big thing about it as such. There is no sort of hatred generated or anything like that, or jingoism. It's just a nice memory of things as they were. And this is part of the display they have. This is model trains, and they run around the back of the railway compartment, so you can sit in the cafe, have yourself something nice to eat, and you can sit in what's a mock-up of a British railway carriage. And if you look out the windows, you see the trains going past, which is rather cute. And then they've got the village hall at the back. Now, in the war, there was a lot of community spirit, and people had to sort of help each other. And so this village hall was a major part of life. And that's what they've got there. Now, this is interesting. This is technology for you. The Spitfire. Now, this is a poster that was used to specify in America, but it's got all the details in it. It's a lovely thing. Now, I know that the Spitfire is a warplane, but it was developed from a racing plane, and it's a gorgeous thing to look at, as long as you're not on the wrong end of the guns. There we go with some rather interesting uniform stuff. There's some pictures there. I don't know what that one is. It's a tribute to the RAF. And you can see here's a de Havilland Lancaster bomber. And they were heavily used by us in the war. And there's another picture of a Spitfire. We look over here, these are the sort of things that you would have found in public places, and uniform from the RAF and stuff. And never before so much owned by so many to so few, and all that sort of thing. It's a real memory jogger, and it puts things into context. Now, this is the tea room, the royal tea room. And at the top of the stairs, you've got an imposing sight of Winston Churchill giving a speech. Now, the technology here is quite clever, because although it's only cut out, there is actually the speech being played there by a device which makes it sound like the sort of sound you would have got from there. Now, in the royal tea room, we are being blessed by the sound of music, and when you look in there, you think, well, where's the music coming from? And there's obviously this speaker thing. And if you look in here, there is a secret. In there is a little Bluetooth speaker which is currently playing 1940s music. I couldn't, because of the copyright problem, I couldn't actually play what it's playing, but it does sound nice. I can assure you of that. There is music being played most of the time in the cafe, and it's the sort of music that is time appropriate. So it's 1940s type stuff, Glenn Miller, all that sort of thing. Now, this is your standard sort of clocks. Yeah, I used to see these in stations, and I used to see them in shops. Now, here we come. This is quite a posh looking room with your gilded mirrors and stuff like that, and the television. Now, anybody recognise this television? It's a little bit tatty, obviously it's old, but it's not one that I'm actually familiar with. So if you could let us know what that one is, that'd be quite interesting. Is that one period appropriate? I'm not sure. It's quite a large screen for the 1940s. I wouldn't have thought it is. As you can see, it hasn't been restored or anything. It's got the detritus of being that sort of age. What's that, 85 years or something like that old. And of course the traditional fireplace, and the sort of things you could have: busts of the king, nice clocks, pictures of the Queen or the Queen Mother. I wasn't sure who that was. If you recognise any of these people, then please put it in the comments below. I'm not as old as this stuff is, so I'm working from memory as a child and being shown stuff by my parents. I recognise the corgi dog there, but and the aspidistra stand. Don't know what the plant is that's in it. Obviously they've got paper chains now. I remember those from the 60s for Christmas. Well, they've got them up as bunting. And here's some pictures of some famous people. And then we go on to the Navy section. It's there is stuff all over this place to look at, to jog memories and to just feel good. And then we got, this is Louise, she's a good singer. She's doing her bit for the country, and as you can see, the technology there is a little bit more modern, but nevertheless. And this is in the village hall, so this is where all the entertainment happens live. It's normally piped through to the rest of the cafe as well, so it's good. We've got singers most weekends, and Louise is there alternating Saturdays and Sundays every weekend, so if you want to listen to her, she can. And yeah, as you can see, the mood is right. That's a Morris 8 down the bottom there. It's a real car, and it's, you can open the doors, you can get in it. They have to trundle it out every now and again if they have a big event and they need the space, and it will fit through those doors, so the wheels do go round. And this is the sort of food that they make a speciality here. This is a recipient of the afternoon tea, sandwiches, cakes, scones. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's well worth the money, I tell you that. So there we go, have it. That's really the end of this look around. If you find it of interest, it's in Frogmoor in High Wycombe, and it's a nice place to go. It's a destination, and it's friendly, and it's good value for money. That's all I can say.